Hello world, this is Pyrochild, and you are watching me. Please do note that it is not my fault, and I am not able to be held accountable for any kind of mental, emotional, or physical damage that may come from watching this voluntarily or involuntarily. Anyways, though, here I am with a replay, a PvP on Delta Quadrant, one of the maps that was not in the beta and was released with the retail version of the game. But this is a PvP between one of my friends who sent me this replay, Authweight, and the Protoss Ripple. So, let's get the production tab running and see who, what, when, where, why, and how this match will progress. So, we've got the top right corner of Delta Quadrant and the bottom right corner. Delta Quadrant is characterized, as I'm sure all of you know and don't need any kind of explanation, but is characterized by being a 4-player, 4-cornered map with a vulnerable natural expansion and a secure expansion here and here that are going to be covered by rocks. You need to break them down, and after that point, the only real threat you have is from the ledge overlooking it in the back. Anyways, though, both players are getting their first pylon down. Authweight will finish just a touch before Ripples, meaning that he will have the supply just that little bit faster. We'll be able to get the chrono boost having just that little bit more of an effect. I always say that Starcraft has really an exponential difference in terms of seconds, where if you're a second later on one thing, it's going to make you 5 seconds later or later on the game. And then if you're 5 seconds later at that point in time, you're going to lose one more unit, which is going to turn the tide for you in a later battle, and it's just going to end up being a big snowball. So you really need to get a tight timing window in the very early game. You see that Authweight did have his first gateway going down at 12 food, and this Protoss right here, Ripple, is going to have his gateway and assimilator coming down right now at 14 food. The assimilator probably came in around 14, maybe 13 for Authweight. I'm sorry I wasn't checking, but we did see it on the production tab, so you were paying attention if I wasn't. And there is also a pylon coming in right around here for Authweight as well, timed with that gateway. The first Zealot out, and we may be seeing a cyber core dropping in just a moment for Authweight. The gateway is still warping in here for Ripple, so it will take him a little bit longer. And we see all of these probes idling. Oh, that hurts so bad. That's going to kill his economy right now, because these probes are not working, and when will he notice this? I'm just going to focus on this right now, because having 5 workers out of 20 right now, out of, 18, because he's got 17, 1 scouting, and 2 supply being eaten up by these right now. But having this many workers doing nothing and just sitting there being idle is huge. They are with a sub command. He should be seeing the idle work count. If he hits F1, it would center on that. This is gigantic. The income spread is enormous. He has all these workers sitting here doing nothing, being of absolutely no use. It's huge, 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 huge how far behind he is right now, because he is 6 food behind and his resources are stockpiling. His macro is in desperate, desperate, desperate need of work. These workers finally being put on production, finally noticing that they are not working, and he's getting the second gateway down right now, as the cyber core has already finished, is researching warp gates, and the second gateway is being dropped. So we do see 2 gate for cyber for the red player, and we see a 1 gate cyber core with quick warp gates, and the second gateway coming in right now for the blue player, Authweight. However, that drastic shortage of probes right there will be a huge, huge, huge part of the late game. I talked about the snowballing effect of Starcraft, and how one mistake early on throws your timing off for a later part. Well, that was a gigantic mistake and a ton of mining time lost, and it will most certainly throw off timing for this red player and make a gigantic snowball effect for the late game in how big these armies are. You do see Authweight's minerals stockpiling right now, or gas stockpiling right now, as his minerals fall behind. It's just a general sign of the early game, because he is more focused on unit production, which is light on Vespene and high on minerals. He's already saturated both geysers, and his minerals are just now approaching saturation. We do see this couple Zealots here poking around. These are going to do some damage because early on Zealots against a Zealot Stalker mix can do a lot. However, they retreat before they get this first kill. So that's a massive victory on Authweight's part because, again, having the economy so far behind and losing one Zealot as opposed to Authweight, who will lose nothing in this minor skirmish, is just big advantage. He was already who knows how many minerals ahead thanks to those idle probes, and then losing that Zealot for the red player made him even 100 more minerals behind. And you see his resources stocking up. He really needs to work on his macro a little bit. Apparently my mouse is getting stuck, so I can't click around. He has no units in production right now, and he's just now making some stalkers, but he had plenty of room for supply, and he had plenty of resources, so it's kind of a mistake that he let himself stockpile up quite so much. Anyways, though, Authweight's getting this other pylon, keeping himself with plenty of room for supply because of the fact that, especially with warp gates, Protoss has this tendency to really run up their supply really quick. And he is going to make some aggression now with all of these stalkers. How many stalkers is that? That's 9 stalkers, 3 sentries, and a zealot. That's a substantial early force for the Protoss. And this Proxy Pylon allows him to warp in more. However, we do see this little force in the center, a couple of Zealots, and a single Stalker. So, if he doesn't notice, which he doesn't notice right then, the mobilization out to the center area, there may be a bit of a base trade situation going on. So, let's see what happens. We do have Red here working on the Robo Facility too. So, oh, and we do see this counter push, like I was saying, so we are going to have a little bit of a base trade. However, Authweight is going right now straight for the Cyber Core. So that Cyber Core will get taken down, and knowing that his base is under attack now, he pulls all of his forces back. So how much damage is going to get done by this red player before Authweight manages to mobilize back and finish off this attacking force? Let's take a look at the food differential, though, just to see how far Authweight really is ahead. And that says it all, people, right there. Just how much everything snowballed and how much the red player really needed to be on top of production. All of these stalkers in a great position due to the choke point. Only 3 out of 4 of the Zealots could have attacked at that point, and he only lost a little bit. And because that Cyber Core was sniped, he also couldn't make anything but Zealots and this Immortal right now. So we're going to have a Zealot Immortal force against all of these Stalkers, which are now counter-pushing. Again, due to the low worker count of this red player, he doesn't even have his gas saturated, and he's just not making any more probes anymore. The low count, that Cyber Snipe right there, and the fact that he can only get Immortals and Zealots right now is just going to be a huge detriment. We see just how much of a difference in food there is. Authweight has twice the food, more than twice the workers. Should be working on his natural at any point in time now, and has just this gigantic army in comparison to this couple Zealots and single Immortal the red player has. There's 18 Stalkers, a single Zealot, and 4 sentries against against these handful of units. And a couple of well-placed force fields going on down right there, preventing the Zealots from really getting in, but now at the same time it's going to make it harder for enough Zealots to get in range to hit that Immortal. However, the gigantic differential in size really just it doesn't make a difference because of the fact that there's so many units, one Immortal can't take down all of them. It's impossible. So this will be GG as the red player is so short on everything right now. It's only at 22 food versus the monstrosity 75 out of Authweight. Just worthless force field at that point. There's more for practice. And this is GG, as you see. Again, the snowball effect of Starcraft right there. You lose the probes in production, you lose the single unit in the early game, and everything falls apart. You need to be on top of production, you need to be on top of everything, and make sure your economy is always running. This is Pyrochild, a quick little entertaining PvP right there with my friend Authweight. Again, if you have any of your own replays, you can feel free to send them to me. I will have my email in the description. Please don't send them to my YouTube account. I will not respond, and I will not use them from there. Just upload them and send them to the Gmail account, which will be in my description. Thank you, and this is Pyrochild out.